Greetings everyone. Today on Up From Down Here we are checking out Six Flags Fiesta, Texas, located in San Antonio. This is a beautiful park that was built inside of a quarry, so I'm excited to check it out and see what it's like. Let's go! Our first coaster today is Goliath. It's a inverted B&M coaster. You may recognize it as Batman at most Six Flags parks. They're fun, zippy, and it's not going to be anyone's favorite coaster, but not their least favorite either. This here is Poltergeist, the park's premier rides launch coaster. It's pretty fun. They have one of these at Six Flags America that we visited earlier. It's also the same type of ride as Flight of Fear at some Cedar Fair parks, except theirs are indoors. It's a quick launch, fast and fun. With this being an outdoor version, one thing you do get that you might not get inside in the dark is a bunch of head chopper moments. And right behind us, we have Batman, which is an S&S free spin coaster, but unsurprisingly, that one is closed. The queue for Poltergeist is probably the best part. It has a really fun, haunted, Poltergeist theme. Oh yeah, the queue is fantastic. It's literally a mini haunted house inside.
Today we are at Fiesta, Texas, and make sure to check out other attractions we like the stream located here in Rockville.
Bugs Whitewater Rapids is the park's log flume that of course is closed since it's January, which makes sense, but it's really cool. They got a little battle going on, sword fight with Bugs and Yosemite Sam out here. Nice little touch. Superman Krypton coaster is the park's floorless B&M coaster. And I'm telling you, this is an amazing ride. Not only is it just one of the better floorless B&Ms I've been on, the setting for this makes it absolutely incredible. You start out off the lift up to the quarry wall, and then you come down, go through a loop with Superman on top, and then a second time, as you can see now, you're going down off the quarry wall twice. So that second time is kind of bringing you up, and you're almost at ground level, and then suddenly the ground drops out. It's the cliff wall, and you go ahead and take another 100-foot dive or so. Great coaster, and the setting just makes it that much better. Definitely one of my favorite floorless B&Ms out there. Wonder Woman Golden Lasso coaster was RMC's first single rail coaster. You sit in single rider rows, kind of straddling the track. It starts off with a nice vertical drop, and then goes up and around, and this thing hauls. The whole ride is very fast. It's fun, and despite that, I did enjoy it, though I may have a controversial opinion. I don't think these are the most exciting roller coasters. I like a regular RMC redone wooden coaster better myself. The headrest only went up to about my neck, and I'm pretty short, so I imagine that could be uncomfortable for some of our taller riders. Riding in the front and the back, obviously you get pulled a little more in the back, but you get plenty of force in the front as well. It's also more rattly than I expected. This coaster's only a couple years old, and you really rattle all around the track. I think part of that is the single rail design. It felt kind of cheap and janky, to be honest, but again, it's definitely a fun coaster, great ride. I'm just not sure it's going to be one of my favorites, although it was definitely great to try out a single rail coaster for the first time. This coaster does have a very low capacity, again with those single riders per car, so just beware of that. You might want to try to get on this first thing in the day if you can, if it's running. Also, I saw it go up and down a couple times today, so bear that in mind. It does seem to go down, but does seem to come back up, so keep your eyes out. Another good time to ride might be right after it comes up from being down. One for the kids, or the credit. Sky Screamer, the second best type of observation tower. The train that goes around the park unfortunately is not running today, but can you just imagine riding through this tunnel and around this beautiful park on that? This here is Iron Rattler. The setting of this coaster is absolutely incredible. You head up the quarry wall, you dive off it, you go back up onto it, dive off it some more, go back up there again, do some maneuvers. It's really an incredible setting. As far as the RMC layout, it is quite good. It's quite fun. It's definitely not going to compete with a Steel Vengeance layout or something like that, but I think it's impossible to beat the setting of this coaster. And to top it all off, you do even end in a tunnel right through the quarry wall. You're not going to experience quite as many or as much air time as some of the newer RMCs on this coaster, but it's still a ton of fun. Definitely a rideable and top tier attraction here. Iron Rattler was one of the earlier RMC retracks where iBox track replaced the wooden track. Dr. Diabolical Cliffhanger is the newest coaster at the park. It opened in the summer of 2022. It's a B&M dive coaster, which means it's going to hang you over the edge before you drop. That is the steepest drop of a dive coaster at 95 degrees. And the first half of this coaster is a little bit more zippy than some of the other B&M dive coasters I've been on, until you hit that first brake run there. So in addition to being a bit zippy and whatnot, it does seat 7 across, which is a little bit unique for dive coasters. I've seen anywhere from 10 to 6 riders per row. 7's a bit unique. The really cool thing about this ride is it has a pre-show. There's actually 2 pre-show rooms, and Six Flags didn't have to do that, but they did. And thank you. I love any type of theming.
Relax! Tell our guests what my elixir promises to deliver.
You are all in grave danger. Please heed my warnings. Leave this place or it will be too late.
Move forward through the corridor. My machine! You fools! You broke my precious machine!
At 150 feet tall, it's not the tallest dive coaster, but that being said, it does still give you some fantastic views of the surrounding area, and views at an angle you don't really get from other coasters in the park. The funny thing about this is, even though it's called Dr. Diabolical's Cliffhanger, it's one of the coasters that doesn't actually dive up a cliff here at the park. Additionally, the locker system here is similar to that of the Lasso coaster, where you put your lockers in, or your items rather, in a locker on your way onto the ride, and then there's a separate door for your locker on your way out, so it doesn't decrease any efficiency, and these lockers are free. So thumbs up there. I hope more parks start to use this system. If you're here on your own, or people just don't want to ride with you, there are tons of single rider lines at almost every coaster here at the park, so keep your eye out for those. The Gully Washer is a family raft ride here, and of course it isn't open because of January, but they do have these spots all over the place near the end here where you can spray your friends that are on the ride, so that's always fun. Roadrunner Express is an Arrow mine train coaster, and despite it looking like it might be a kid's coaster, I think it would be exciting for anyone, whether it's someone who's just getting into coasters, or a family member, or an adult looking to ride coasters. It's the third and final coaster here that interacts with the wall and the cliff here, and it's fairly smooth. It is one of the later and last mine coasters built by Arrow, so that could be a reason it is so smooth. There's actually 2 lifts on it, and it's quite the fun ride, so don't skip it. Boomerang Coast to Coaster is the Parks of Vekoma Boomerang Coaster. Sends you forward through a loop. I should say a cobra roll and then a loop. And then you get to do everything backwards in a moment. This is sporting typical shoulder style restraints and not vest restraints. I will say it wasn't the roughest one of these I've been on. I'm not sure if I'm getting better at riding them, or if this is in fact a smoother boomerang. The tip I do have for those of you riding is to push your shoulders and chest as far as you can forward. It kind of helps keep you stable while you're riding. The kids area here is on the smaller side. For the 30th anniversary, which took place in 2022, the park put a bunch of these signs up talking about then and now. Basically, what was here in certain places way back when and what's here now. Here we have the Twister, which used to be in the spot that now houses this ride here, which is the Joker's Carnival of Chaos. Speaking of the Joker Carnival of Chaos, this is the tallest, and I use the loosely as there are several spinning pendulums that go this high. About 172 feet tall is how high you'll swing and spin on this one. Obviously, there's a great setting and great views here. The queue is a mini attraction in itself. I know I probably sound like a broken record by now talking about queues, but I really appreciate that they put the effort into theming queues and making them exciting. It really makes the wait not so bad. And up behind this ride, if you look at that tower up on the quarry wall there, that's actually a zip line, an upcharge attraction, the Screaming Eagle. It costs $14.99 for a single rider or $24.99 for a double rider at this time. It is the type, I believe, where it starts you at the bottom, which is down here, and then sends you up the line to the top there, and then it'll release you and send you down, usually at a controlled speed. They're not usually too intense, but it probably, again, offers great views. There's not a bad view in this park. The theming at Six Flags San Antonio is really a cut above. It's some of the best theming I've seen in pretty much any theme park, honestly, beyond, you know, a Disney or Universal, though I'll admit, there were times where you could have told me I was in Disney, just with the level of detail and the fact that they actually theme everything here at Six Flags San Antonio. So that was very impressive. And I mean, look at this. Look at these waterfalls. The setting is beautiful. They really did a good job with theming. The Hustlers theme to pool. You got little pool ball cars you spin in. Pirates of the Dead Sea is an interactive shooter ride, similar to a Boo Blasters, but I would say the theming inside is superior to that. Somewhere between a Boo Blasters and a Justice League Battle for Metropolis. Definitely a fun ride, worth checking out. It was a bit hard to hit a lot of the targets in my opinion, but maybe my aim is just terrible. The park's boardwalk area is home to go-karts, Pandemonium, the Sky Coaster attraction, Disco, Ferris wheels, Scrambler, Tilt-A-Whirl, and more. Sorry, that's a slingshot ride, not a Sky Coaster. And the boardwalk is actually wood. It's a boardwalk. Oh, and the boardwalk is home to one of these, the Fireball. Six Flags' favorite coaster. Pandemonium, the park's spinning mouse coaster, has some skateboard ramps to jump off of. I do believe Pandemonium was once a Tony Hawk theme, hence the skateboarder. Daredevil Dive is a Zamperla air race ride, which in itself is a cool ride, nothing too exciting, but this has got to be the best Zamperla air race I've ever seen, because it's not just a ride, it's a whole thematic experience. It's a true production. There's lighting and fire effects, sound effects, you know, as you go, the volume and intensity of the music increases as the ride increases speed. It's a fantastic experience. Like I said, a production, not only for the guests on the ride, but the people watching the ride as well. If you don't like spinning attractions, you probably still want to watch a cycle just to see how cool it is. It's a show, really. It's always cool when adults can ride rides like this. During the warmer months, you can visit Whitewater Bay here as well. This is one of those Six Flags parks that has a water park included with admission. For lunch here, we're meeting at the Sangerfest Hall, which is a German-themed area. They even have a stage here. It looks like they might do some shows sometimes. And I got something that wasn't chicken tenders again. Got a half chicken with potato salad and beans. Side note, cups of water are free. I've had a couple bites now and the chicken's not half bad. The potato salad's pretty good. It's got a mustardy flavor. And the beans are beans. They're not bad. So I would recommend it here. This meal would run someone 20 bucks. It was free with a meal credit on the dining plan that I can't believe I bought for about 65 bucks a while back. I definitely got my money worth on that. They do have quite the variety of food here as well, from pizza to chicken to salads to sandwiches and more. This is the first Six Flags I've been to that actually had its Asian cuisine chopsticks open, so of course I had to try it. And as far as theme park food goes, it's alright, it's alright. If you're in the mood for fried rice that's not quite as good as your local Chinese joint, go for it. Over here they have this feeder, I assume to feed fish, though I don't see any fish and I'm not willing to spend a quarter to find out if they're in there. Cocktails that you can actually buy because it's actually open. Let's check out the menu. Six Flags Fiesta Texas was an absolutely stunning park. Without a doubt, it's my favorite park in the chain that I've been to so far. Coaster-wise, Six Flags Great Adventure might beat it out by a bit, but the setting alone makes this no doubt the best park. Six Flags Fiesta Texas is a true theme park. It's not just an amusement park. It's great to see that even the newer rides that they install here, they put at least some effort into theming. And I wish they would do that with more Six Flags parks. I was truly blown away by this park. I was expecting it to be second to Six Flags Over Texas, but Six Flags Over Texas, in my opinion, certainly can't compete with the sheer beauty and operations of the park here at Six Flags Fiesta Texas. Pretty much everything was running, minus maybe one flat ride that I saw maintenance working on, and then the S&S free spin coaster, which, you know, those are prone to having some technical difficulties. S&S and roller coasters often historically just don't work out. If there's ever one Six Flags park I would recommend going to, this is absolutely the one. Of course, it being January, it wasn't too busy. We were able to finish up our day in only a few hours, as in we got on all the major coasters, so from there we were able to just re-ride things and honestly truly just sit and enjoy the beauty of this park. Upkeep was also great in the park. There was plenty of fresh paint everywhere and it was just a wonderful time. I try not to research parks too much before I visit them because I like to explore and, you know, have that element of surprise, and Six Flags Fiesta Texas blew me away. Merlin's Beard, look what opened. Just after I finished filming my wrap-up video, the Batman coaster opened. So I gotta run to the airport, but I'm gonna see if I can squeeze a ride in before I go. And that would make every single coaster at this park open in January. Another reason Six Flags Fiesta Texas is, I think, possibly gonna be the best Six Flags park, at least in the US. And Batman the Ride has a themed queue. Incredible. So, naturally, I got onto the ride, sat down, locked the restraints, and then they had technical difficulties again. So no Batman ride for me today, but you know, at least they got it running for a little bit. Maybe it'll be back later. But I gotta go catch up Lane. Thanks so much for watching. While it's not amusement park related, if you have a few spare moments, you know, an hour or two or much more to kill in the San Antonio area, I highly recommend checking out the San Antonio Riverwalk. It's a beautiful setting right in the heart of the city, peaceful right along the water. You can hear birds chirping and not just city pigeons. There's a bunch of shops and dining and just, it's a beautiful setting. So check it out. I was able to get breakfast there. I wish I could have spent some more time there. They have everything from nightlife to entertainment to a theater. So it's definitely a spot you should check out if you have any time.